The forge is collapsing. Stone sweats. Iron screams. Fire climbs the walls like it's trying to escape what's being born. A hammer is coming into the world. Not gently, not cleanly. This thing is dragged out of chaos, beaten, burned, cursed, into shape. The dwarves know what it's for. They don't speak its name. They don't have to. Somewhere above them, thunder gathers around a god who solves every problem the same way, by breaking it in half. Then the interruption. Small, insignificant. A fly lands on flesh already split by scars. Pain flashes. The bellows slow. And destiny stumbles. Because when the mold opens, something is wrong. The weapon meant to be perfect isn't. The handle is too short. A flaw so small it looks harmless. A flaw so quiet no one notices it will decide the fate of gods. This is not a story about a hammer. It's a story about why the universe never allows absolute power.
Unveil the legends.
Before the hammer, the world survived on tension. Gods above, giants beyond, dwarves below. Not harmony, deterrence. At the center of it stood Thor, not wise, not merciful, useful. Thor was a solution disguised as a god. When negotiations failed, he was sent. When borders were crossed, he answered. When fear was required, he delivered it personally, and it worked. Until it didn't, because Thor was not subtle. Every victory pushed the giants closer to extinction. Every shattered skull whispered the same warning, one day he won't stop. That's where Loki thrived. Loki watched patterns. He noticed what others ignored. He understood that the greatest threats don't announce themselves with armies. They arrive with applause. Thor was becoming too effective, too final. And in a universe built on cycles, creation, destruction, rebirth, that was unacceptable. So when Loki humiliated Thor by attacking what he loved most, it wasn't just cruelty. It was a provocation, a chain reaction, a reason to force creation itself to intervene. Because if Thor was going to wield the ultimate weapon, someone had to make sure it wasn't too ultimate. The underground forge never slept. It breathed. Stone. Walls pulsed with heat. Iron veins glowed like exposed nerves. Every strike of the hammer sent pain through the mountain itself. This was not craftsmanship. This was violence with purpose. The dwarves understood that. Creation, to them, was controlled destruction. Two brothers stood at the heart of it. Brokkr had hands like iron blocks, scarred, shaking, permanent victims of heat. He didn't think in words. He thought in pressure. Weight, timing. Sindri was different, precise, obsessive, a mind that never rested, a perfectionist cursed. With imagination, together they were dangerous, and Loki knew it. He didn't enter like a god. He entered like a virus, quiet, unseen. Already inside the system, the bet was cruel by design. If the dwarves failed, Loki would take their heads, not figuratively. Their skulls would roll across the forge floor, joining the bones of lesser craftsmen who had made lesser mistakes. If they succeeded, Loki would lose his own head. But Loki never gambled without a hidden card. The forge ignited. The brothers worked without speaking. Metal softened, melted, became obedient. First, the golden boar, perfect. Then the multiplying ring, flawless. Each success tightened Loki's jaw. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. So when the final mold sealed shut, the hammer mold, Loki acted. He didn't sabotage the metal. He sabotaged the man. He became small, insignificant, a fly. The first bite struck Brokkr's wrist. Ignored. The second struck his neck. Ignored. The third struck the eyelid. That was the mistake. Pain is a language even masters understand. Brokkr's eye twitched. His hand faltered. The bellows slowed, not stopped, but slowed. and fire does not forgive hesitation. The metal cooled too fast, not ruined, just wrong. When the mold broke open, silence fell. The hammer lay there, heavy, dense, alive, but the handle too short. Not broken, not useless, just imperfect. Loki exhaled. He thought the world had been saved. The gods called it a mistake. That's the word myths use when the truth feels uncomfortable. A mistake suggests accident, innocence, no intent. But ask a blacksmith. There are no accidents at the forge, only decisions made under pressure. Think about the timing. The brothers had already proven themselves capable of perfection twice, so why fail now? Why on the most important object ever attempted? Because this hammer wasn't meant to be just another weapon. It was meant for Thor, and everyone knew what Thor represented. Not justice, not wisdom, force, pure, relentless, apologetic only after the damage was done. Thor didn't ask why. He asked where. Give that kind of being a flawless tool, and you don't get protection. You get extinction. A longer handle would have changed everything, but the short handle forced proximity, forced effort, forced vulnerability. Every swing required commitment. The hammer didn't just limit Thor, it shaped him. And here's the darker possibility. What if the brothers understood that? What if, in that final moment, Brokkr didn't flinch because of pain, but because of doubt? Because somewhere deep in his scarred mind, a question surfaced. Should any god hold perfection? The myths blame Loki because it's easier to blame chaos than responsibility. But the forge doesn't lie. And perfection has always been the most dangerous thing a craftsman can make. The hammer was presented to the gods. They gathered, watched, judged. Thor wrapped his hand around it. Mjolnir didn't resist him. It welcomed him. Lightning responded instantly, violent, obedient, ecstatic. The air cracked. The ground trembled. Even flawed, the weapon surpassed everything that came before it. Loki lost the bet. He survived. By twisting language, as always, promises bent, technicalities exploited. His head stayed attached to his shoulders. For now, Thor took the hammer and went to war. Giants fell. Mountains broke. Legends formed. But watch closely. Every story of Thor's victories includes struggle. He strains. He bleeds. He misses. The hammer slips. The short handle betrays him. And that's the point, because struggle creates stories, not domination. The irony cuts deep. The flaw meant to weaken Thor is what made him human enough to be loved, dangerous enough to be feared, but not so absolute that the world rejected him. In trying to prevent chaos, Loki may have saved existence. In trying to create perfection, the dwarves may have chosen restraint. And Thor, armed with a flawed weapon, became exactly what the cosmos could survive. Not a god without limits, but a god forced to earn every victory. Because in myth, as in life, the most catastrophic mistake isn't imperfection. It's believing perfection should exist at all. Every civilization hides its fear inside its heroes. This one feared perfection, because perfection doesn't protect worlds, it ends them. The short handle wasn't a failure of craftsmanship. It was a confession that even gods must struggle, that even power must be earned at arm's length. So ask yourself this: was Loki sabotaging the hammer, or saving reality from what Thor could have become? And here's the darker question. If the gods learned to fear perfection here, why did they ignore that lesson when they created the one being who had no flaws? Because next, we're opening the forbidden myth of the God who was born perfect, and why the universe moved to destroy him before he destroyed everything else. Stay close. That story doesn't end with a mistake. It ends with blood.